Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I'm going to do a rant. I've never done one of these before, but I figure I'll give it a shot, tell you all the kind of shit that irritates me, stuff that really grinds my gears, and see how many of y'all can relate. And my number one thing's got to be traffic. I have to drive every day for work, and these people out there, I mean, what blows my mind is that people are so smart. I mean, they're out there splitting atoms and doing brain surgery, putting pig hearts in people and shit, creating these wonderful buildings and beautiful pieces of art. But they get behind the wheel of a car and they just go completely brain dead, drooling on their phone and shit. Oh, they're morons. They're morons. As soon as they get behind the wheel, they lose all function, all the synapses quit firing in their brain. I mean, completely brain dead, probably legally dead. And it just blows my mind how stupid people are. Sitting there the other day, there's two lines of traffic, one going straight at a traffic light, one going straight and one turning. Well, about halfway down the turning lane, there's a person there that decides that they don't want to turn. They're in the wrong lane. So they just turn their blinker on and decide to merge into the straight lane. As we're all sitting there at a red light. And this traffic is heavy. It's backed up all the way back through the next light and back behind the next light. So the light turns green and the 3 or 4 cars in front of this person, they make their turn. And this person is sitting there with their right blinker on in the left turn lane, trying to merge into the traffic on the right that is going straight. But they still have the red light. So this person is just parked in the turning lane. All the people behind them just dooming them to miss the light. They automatically miss the light. Everyone behind them has to miss the light because this moron decides that they're not going to make the block. Just make their turn and make the block so the 15, 20 people behind them miss the light because they don't feel like, just making the block or whatever and taking responsibility for their actions, the fact that they got in the wrong lane. Now, this is either complete and utter stupidity or just total inconsideration for the next person. They're just inconsiderate. They don't give a shit about all the people behind them and their time. So this kind of shit just blows my mind. And then another recent thing that happened is I'm sitting there and I think it was at the same light and in the straight lane, and the person in front of me is the first one at the light, waiting for the light to turn green, and I'm right behind that person. Well, as soon as the light turned green, this lady in front of me starts waving to the person across the intersection in the turning lane to go, instead of just going through the light, the green light that we have. She starts waving to that person to go. Now, the first thing that crossed my mind is that you can't see that person's arrow. It's probably red. There's a reason that person isn't going. They don't give that person a green arrow at the same time they give you a green light. That would cause accidents. That arrow is probably red. So you're sitting here wasting everybody's time. And that's just that's a double, because she's inconsiderate of everybody behind her waiting on the light, and she's too stupid to realize that that person probably doesn't have a green light. And that is, I don't expect everyone to have memorized all of the little random rules of the road, But red and green lights, that one, yeah, I do expect people to remember those rules for the red and green lights and how they work and what they're for. And I'm gonna judge people pretty harshly on that. That's really stupid. And there's just no reason. There's no reason why we can't know what the hell a red and green light means, and how these things work. If you're a grown ass adult, you should know these things. When the light turns green, you press the pedal on the right. If it's red, you hit the brake. It's that simple. It's not, rocket science. We're not figuring out thrusts and gradients and all this stuff. You don't have to break out your calculator and your abacus and shit and do all this multi-theoretical abstract science and shit. No, you just hit the gas pedal. That's it. That's all that's needed. Move your foot over about 4 inches and push down. That's all that is needed. And these people, some of them can't do it. And I wouldn't even be bitching, honestly. I wouldn't even bring this driving thing up if that happened, a couple times a year. No, this happens constantly. This kind of shit is daily. These are two very recent things that just happened to me, and they happen all the time. Happened to me that I've seen, that I've experienced. Yeah, and stupid shit like that is just constant and all the time. It's just mind blowing how people behave when they get behind the wheel of a car, and a lot of it has to do with the anonymity. It's kind of like the internet. People are anonymous and they think they can just do whatever they want. A lot of that more aggravating shit that happens out on the road. Another thing that really grinds my gears, something that really pisses me off, is I got a different insurance. I found some cheaper car insurance, so I canceled my old policy, and then I was informed that I still owed money. I got a thing in the mail saying that I had a balance or whatever. I owe them money. Now, I've never made a claim. I've, never been in an accident, never in my life. Never made a claim on insurance ever, so I didn't make a claim on that policy for sure. And so I've been paying them for a couple years to do absolutely nothing. They've done nothing. Nothing for me. They've done absolutely nothing. I've just been giving them money because the law says I have to. And I don't necessarily disagree with that law. Insurance, people should have insurance if they're going to drive on the road to protect other people. But for an insurance company to take advantage of that law and take my money and do absolutely nothing, and then to say that they did extra nothing, so I owe them more money, right? What is it? Do they have an empty room in that office building somewhere that's reserved just for me, and they send some rando in there to play on their phone and do some extra nothing just for me? Is that it? So they devoted some extra nothing time, and they want more of my money for that. That's just, to me, that's mind blowing. How in society today, by law, we're forced to give a company money and get nothing in return. Absolutely nothing in return. They give us zero, and if we do by chance need to use their services, then they fight us tooth and nail. They refuse to honor their part of the bargain. They fight us in court. Everything they do, they get us with every, like that thing saying that I owed them money when I'm paid up on my insurance, or they'll suspend my driver's license if I don't keep my insurance paid up. Here in Florida anyway, they'll suspend your driver's license. So I'm paid up on my insurance, with this insurance company saying I still owe them for more nothing that they've done. They did special nothing. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe the nothing they did for me was special. Maybe it wasn't more of the nothing. Maybe I got special nothing. But however you look at it, I got nothing in return, but they wanted more of my money for it. Absolutely nothing. And that shit blows my mind. And that they say that, right? These governments, state governments say that it's for the betterment, it's to protect people and all this stuff and all that. Now, a lot of states aren't like this, but here in Florida, we've got a glaring example of their hypocrisy. They're completely two-faced. And we've got a pretty good government here in Florida, but some of this shit is just the lies and the hypocrisy are just under a microscope, under a spotlight here in Florida, because we're a big motorcycle tourist, kind of a draw for motorcyclists, right? Because of our Sunshine and our Daytona Bike Week. So they say we have to wear seatbelts for safety, and we have to carry insurance to protect other people. But if you own a motorcycle here in Florida, you don't have to wear a helmet. They don't, and you don't have to have insurance. No insurance at all. It's by law. I've owned motorcycles. I've ridden motorcycles here in Florida. I know these things. Now they could have changed the laws here. They must have been recently though, because I owned a motorcycle in the teens. So, but yeah, you don't have to have insurance or wear a helmet. So as far as the seatbelt goes, they make us wear seatbelts for our safety because they're concerned about us, right? But so why aren't you concerned about the people who ride motorcycles? What about their safety? Why don't you want them to live? Do you hate them? Is that why you dislike the people who ride motorcycles and you don't want them to be safe? Is that it? That kind of shit. And what about if I slam my motorcycle into the side of a car? Why isn't it that I must have insurance if I ride a motorcycle? I can still damage a car pretty good with a motorcycle. So, but you don't care about that. So that's the kind of thing that blows my mind. It's completely hypocritical. They're two-faced, and it's about money. All right. It's about money. It's not about safety. They can hand out more tickets the more laws they have. So they made a seatbelt law. Period. That's it. It's about money. That's it. And the insurance companies lobby these governments for, to pass these laws and have these restrictions and pass these bare minimum laws and do all this stuff, right? So that we have, and they control the insurance. Now, if it was more of an open free market, then okay, let's say I have an insurance policy and I have it for a year and I don't get in any accidents. Don't make any claims, which I've done a lot of years. So let's say I paid 10 grand into this policy over the year. Well, why don't they just, as an incentive for staying accident free, why don't they give me a check back at the end of the year? Hey, Jesse, you did awesome. You didn't make any claims, gotten 0 accidents. Here's a check. Here's 5 grand. Here's half your money back. Nice little, to go with your tax return. Thank you for being a customer. That was awesome. But that's not what they do. They penalize us if we do happen to get in an accident. They raise your rates. They jack your rates up. Now, why isn't the government involved in that and stopping them from doing that? Now, you've been driving for 30 years, right? Never had an accident. Make one mistake get in an accident, and now they're going to jack your rates up. That kind of stuff just, my point is that there are better ways to do things. I'm a handyman. I can sit here and think for 5 minutes and come up with 2 or 3 different ways that they could make it better and easier for the consumer and still have good insurance coverage. Now, of course, these huge billion-dollar insurance companies, they won't make 10% increase in profits next year. It'll only be 5% increase. So that would kill them. They'll probably have people jumping out of windows and shit over there at at Farm Life and Geico and shit, because they only made 5, their profits only increased by 5%. So we can't have that. But yeah, that shit just pisses me off. How they gouge us every time and offer nothing in return. Absolutely nothing. Zero. How we have a whole industry that offers their customers nothing. Just how did we get here? But and then the other thing is that really bothers me is the bank. Like being in business for myself, I've had a few times where I'll misjudge something on a job. I'll misjudge a job, or I'll try to cut it real tight because it's, a senior citizen on a budget, and I know they're not going to be able to eat very much next week or whatever if I stick to my normal prices. They can't make more money. They're stuck with this amount of money every month, and this is an unexpected thing for them. So I'll cut my, the price of my job down to the bone. Or the times are slow. I don't have a lot of work, and I'll cut it down to the bone because I want to go do something, because you get more work by doing work. If you're out there working on somebody's place and your van is parked in their driveway with your stickers on it and stuff, and your, handyman service and all this, and their neighbor sees you parked there, well, a lot of times their neighbor will come over and say, hey, can I have a card? You know what I mean? So that kind of thing. It's just way better to be out there doing work than it is to be sitting at home gut rotten over not doing work. So even if you break even on a job, it's better to go out and do the damn job than it is to sit home. So that kind of stuff. But anyway, for differing reasons, sometimes I'll misgauge a job, and the prices, sometimes the prices will rise in something in an area, plywood or lumber or something, and I haven't been keeping up with that because I've been doing other stuff, working in other areas. And I'll have more money to spend on materials than I thought, or the job will take longer than I thought, or whatever. And I'll take my account down to close to zero for a day or two, right? And my bank account. So, which is fine. I'm good with that. Whatever. I'm not worried about it. I know that I'm about to get paid as soon as I finish the job and get good again. But while it's down there near zero, say I got $5 left in my account. Well, that's every single time almost. That's when my $8 Netflix subscription will hit. Bing. That's when Netflix will decide to charge me, right? Or some other recurring subscription like that. Some other bullshit little $10 or less thing will try to come out of there. And the bank will notify me that happened, right? Hey, the Netflix tried to charge us shit, dude, and we denied it. Okay, all right. Well, you can't fault them for that, right? You can't fault them for that. Hey, they didn't. Not like it's your brother or sister or something. They would look out for you. It's a nameless, faceless bank. It's So you can't fault them for not covering it for you. Okay, Netflix gets turned off, but along with that, they tell you, well, we didn't cover it, and here's a $35 insufficient funds fee. Yeah. Now, so they do nothing, absolutely nothing. It took, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 milliseconds for the computer to deny that charge. And it wasn't handled by a person. It was all electronically. It just tried to charge it in, a few milliseconds, and it was denied. And then also in there, they decide to charge you $35. So you check your account, and now it's, $27 in the hole or something like that. So now I'm negative $27 instead of 5 to the good. And again, they did nothing. They did not help me. They didn't, I could almost take the service charge and feel good about it if they had covered it. Hey, we looked out for you, bro. Hey, Netflix slipped in here and charged you, and we went ahead and covered that for you, dude. We got your back, but it's going to cost you $35 extra. That would suck, but at least then, hey, you got, you would feel like your bank was half-ass looking out for you. Hey, at least they covered it, dude. Oh, my Netflix subscription didn't get canceled. Thank goodness. Oh man, I feel good about that at least. I don't have to sit there and look at a blank screen. But no, they go ahead and deny it. They do nothing. They harm you. They let your Netflix subscription get canceled and then charge you. Then they charge you a fee for doing nothing, for not helping you. That's the only places that I'm aware of that charge you a fee for not helping you are banks and insurance companies. They do absolutely nothing for you, zero, zilch, nada, and expect you to pay for it. Expect you to pay extra for it. Right? Yeah, they want you to pay extra because they do extra good nothing. Banks and insurance companies they go the extra mile to do nothing for you. They go the extra mile to screw you, and they expect you to pay an extra fee for that shit. Yeah. And that's the kind of shit that just kills me. I'm too much. I swear I swear I'm born I've been born in the wrong century or something, right? That's the one thing that makes me kind of at least question the idea of reincarnation, because I just feel like I was born in the wrong century, because this stuff just my very soul rebels against this kind of shit. I'm telling you, down to my core, I just hate this kind of shit. Being robbed by these faceless electronic organizations online, because I remember back in the day when your banker, you'd have a small hometown bank, and those people would bend over backwards to take care of you. The customer service, if you had a check bounce, they'd let you know, hey, come in, and they'd call you. My mom and dad, they used to get phone calls. Hey, you can come in and get your money in, sometime today and to cover this, but this is, this bounce check. You just got a check that came in, and there's no funds in here. You know what I mean? So they would allow them, they would give you time to come in. They tried to help you. They would call you. A human being would call you on the phone and explain to you what happened and help you fix it. Not just rack up charges on your account until you're hundreds of dollars in debt. It's going to take half your paycheck just to get you back up to zero. because of all the shitty fees they've slammed on there. And the same thing with insurance. They used to walk into an office and talk to someone to get insurance, and it was all on paperwork and stuff, and you would sit down, and if there were, and there was someone you could call someone at that office and talk to that same person you talked to, and yeah, it was just, when it was real people, everything was just so much better. And real people who, honestly, even if they didn't care about you, they cared about their job or their business, and customer satisfaction and that kind of stuff really meant something back then. And they would do their best to help you and to make sure you were a satisfied customer, because that was their end goal, not the bottom line, not the stock market, not the dividends and all this shit. Their bottom line was customer satisfaction. That was what they were aiming for. Nowadays, it doesn't matter. They just want to gouge everyone for as much as possible, as fast as possible. And I'll leave you there with that. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member of Gen X Thinks, I'll put that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. Or you can head over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I appreciate those of you who do that. Thank you very much. I'll leave that link down in the description as well. If you're interested in Gen X gear, we got some pretty cool stuff over there at Redbubble. Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded stuff. T-shirts, coffee mugs, stickers, all kinds of cool stuff over there. But I'll leave that link down in the description too. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out a hell of a lot, so thank you very much. I sincerely appreciate those of you who do that. It means a lot. Thank you. If you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments, or you can email us, and the email is genxthinks@gmail.com. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.